Hello, so this is my second attempt of filming a vlog of a trip going down to Uluwatu for the day. We went on Saturday with the hopes that we were going to find a guest house that we really liked and be able to stay there. All the advice I've seen about coming to Bali is once you're here, like you shouldn't book anything on booking online, or you shouldn't book Airbnb because you can go and make deals with all of these guest houses, right? They don't have to pay the fees to Airbnb, so they'll do you a deal and it'll be a bit cheaper. And everyone says just go to the area, kind of like saunter around and you'll be fine, you'll find loads of guest houses. So we went down to Uluwatu on Saturday and it took 3 hours to get there. It should not. According to SatNav, it should take anywhere between 1 and 2 hours, even if the traffic is really bad. I will say partly this is my fault because I am definitely still new to the scooter, and when we went on Saturday I was still very uncomfortable with the concept of driving in traffic. But there's nothing like learning on the go, so by the time we were on the way home I felt a lot more comfortable kind of overtaking and filtering through the traffic. On the way there I kind of stopped and waited like I was a car, not a scooter, and I didn't overtake anybody when we were stopped at traffic lights and stuff like that. We got to Uluwatu, both of us were a little bit uncomfortable, sore bums from our bike, and we were like, right, we need to go and rest somewhere. We'll get some lunch, then we'll shoot straight off. We had a nice time for about an hour or so, and then when we headed off, it started hammering down rain. Really bad. We were in really cheap, thin ponchos that are literally like carrier bags that just got wet through, water running down my face so I couldn't see properly. I had to pull over because my eyes were just running so badly. We then sat at this tiny little warung, like it wasn't even serving food, it was like a snack warung that we just sat at. We drive around, we see a few different guest houses, nothing really that we're saying like, yes, let's go for this. And we're like, one of the reasons we're down here is because we want to see the areas. So let's like drive around and double check like all the different locations. Now, by this time, it's like 5 o'clock and we know we need to get home, and we know getting home took us 3 hours beforehand. Both of us keep getting up and off the bike to stretch and get off our bums for 5 minutes, and the day was getting more and more exhausting. We were soaked through as well, so we were uncomfortable. Your clothes get itchy when they're wet, and it just was like, it was a no-go. So we quickly run through Bingin and Padang, and we're like, great, these look like perfect areas. We love it, we want to stay here, but we still don't have anywhere to stay. Fast forward to today. It's now Wednesday. We have still another week and a half until we have to leave this accommodation, but both of us are getting a little bit antsy now that we want to make sure we have somewhere set up and good to go next. It's a weekday. I feel a little bit uncomfortable about leaving work for the day and kind of catching up through the night, but needs must. So it's currently 8:30 and we are literally about to set off and start the process of going down to some properties in Uluwatu. This time around we're much more organised. We have some places in mind to go and look at, and then on the route for those we'll stop in and see if there's anywhere else that we like as well. And just really quick, because I won't be able to talk about this while we're at guest houses, there's a few things that we're wanting to check, the reasons why we're wanting to see these properties, not just book them online. First and foremost, nowhere looks like the pictures here in Bali. Everywhere has been photographed, probably one specific room that looks a little bit better than the others. Don't mind my morning alarm going off outside. So we want to check how similar to the pictures they are, that like it lines up with our expectations. Big one is how clean it is. There's quite a few properties here, like we stayed in Seminyak for 2 days. Not a fan. The hotel was really like dirty. The towels were stained, all sorts of things like that. So we want to go and see how clean the properties are. And finally, checking things like Wi-Fi and hot water. In Uluwatu especially, it's on a like limestone cliff, so there's not a usual water system. The owners of properties have to have like water tanks, and therefore the hot water isn't as reliable. A lot of the places advertise a property with no hot water. I'm not dealing with that. I need hot water, especially if we're coming into rainy season and it's going to be like we're getting wet through. Even in this hot weather you still feel chilly and you still need to warm through after that. So we wanted to check that there's hot water, that the Wi-Fi speeds are like as advertised, and that they are appropriate for work for me, so that I can use things like Zoom and be able to go online. I run an online business after all, like that is crucial to us. And up until now, like property has been the best Wi-Fi, and it's not great. There's been a couple of times I've had to use my phone hotspot to stay on a Zoom call and that sort of thing. So we'll strap in, get ready to come with us on a day in Uluwatu. 1 hour in, we've already got sore bums and we've stopped for a second. We're gonna grab some food and get back on the road. It's 10:30. We've got 30 minutes still left to get there apparently, but we'll see if that's true. Last time it said it would take us an hour to get there, and it took us 3. So we're 1 hour in, and it says it's going to take us another half an hour. And fingers crossed we've made it past most of the traffic. But I am soaking wet because it's rainy season and it's started hammering down the second we left the house. So we've got these horrendously large ponchos on. So we're trying to hope we'll keep us warm and dry, more importantly. I will check in with you again when we're back on the road. Hello, so editing Bethan here with just a little thought I wanted to share with you. I am just looking through this footage and I didn't film nearly as much as I wanted to of the actual sort of homestays and guest houses that we were looking at. But there's a reason for that. When we started going through and doing these tours, it was very clear that the people that we were dealing with were the owners. They kind of accompanied us the entire time on the tour. But with that, I didn't exactly want to pull a camera out and record this place that we haven't committed to staying at yet, make comments about our thoughts about it in front of them. The whole thing felt a little bit iffy and disrespectful. I also really didn't want to accidentally dox myself and put somewhere that's recognizable to people and show where we're going to be staying and post that on the internet, because that's just not safe. So you're going to skip ahead a little bit in this clip to our way home, but just know we spent about 3 or 4 hours driving around and seeing different properties, trying to find somewhere we liked. Coffee break. We found somewhere though, right? We found 2 places that we liked. They were both the cheapest ones as well. So we're back home. And today went so much better than Saturday. Saturday we were out from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. Today was a lot different and a lot more organised. We went and looked at some places that we'd already contacted. 2 in particular stood out as being actually decent for the price and clean and lovely places to stay. But we made it down there in about 2 hours and it was roughly the same coming back, I would say. Even though there was traffic, even though it was busy, it still didn't feel as bad or as long of a day. So we made it back at about 5:30ish. Got showered because it was sweaty work being on that bike all day. And now I've just done a couple of meetings. So all in all, a pretty successful day. I'm really looking forward to moving down to Uluwatu though. Where we are in Tamagi is really lovely and quiet. But the second we hit past Pererinan, the traffic is the worst thing I've ever seen. It actually makes me almost dread going into town for these lovely restaurants and stuff because it's just so intense to drive through. In Uluwatu, I barely saw an ounce of traffic. It seems a lot more laid back. They still have lots of lovely restaurants, not as many by far. It seems like it might be even a little bit cheaper in that area. There's looks like big signs with lots of promos outside of the different restaurants. And the beaches is the big pro. I am a beach girl through and through. And as much as the beaches in Canggu are not bad, and nowhere near as bad as I thought they were going to be from all the stuff I'd seen online, they are black sand beaches. The water isn't as blue. But down in Uluwatu, picture perfect. White sand, blue sea, and also everything just seems to be a little bit closer to where we think we're going to end up staying. There's a gym, there's co-working spaces, there's restaurants all on the same street, even potentially walkable, which is something that has really annoyed both of us, I think, about where we are right now. Is even walking to the laundry, which is 4 doors down, there are bikes and trucks coming past and dogs that are barking at you like crazy as if they're about to attack. And when you get into the centre, it's just not safe. Like I said, bikes are hopping up onto the pavement all the time, or there is no pavement and you've got to try and walk in the road with bikes that are overtaking. Because the traffic is a lot less, the pavements seem like no one's riding on them and they're safe to walk on. I guess we'll have to keep you posted on if Uluwatu matches up to our expectations when we arrive there. We are leaving here in 10 days and we'll be there for another month. And after that, we only have a final 2 weeks in Bali, in which we have no idea where we're going to go or where we're going to stay, because it's going to be peak rainy season and our initial plans of going back to Ubud might not work because of that. Thank you very much for coming on this vlog with me. If you liked this video, please do give it a like. It's a little bit different than the other digital nomad sort of content that I've done before. If you want to see more, subscribe.